Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Super Wrestling Federation's Saturday Night Power Slam. The Fever, Andy Disco is here, and look at that, he's already dancing. The children in the crowd are dancing along. They love this man. They think he's fun. They think he's energetic. They think that he's colorful. They think he's larger than life. The Fever, Andy Disco, always here to have a good time. The last time we saw Andy Disco was his debut match against the Filthy Caveman. But tonight, he's not facing the Filthy Caveman. He's facing a much more experienced, much more gruesome opponent. That of one half of the Calzone brothers, Tony Calzone. Tony Calzone seems to be quite jacked, if I may say so. His muscle mass has increased. You can see by his body language and his taunts, he still has no respect for anybody. Fight. Here we are, Andy Disco, the master of the Disco Buster, taking on Tony Calzone, one half of the Calzone brothers. And look at that, already fighting back so heavily with those forearm strikes and a drop kick. Tony Calzone showing that he does not like Andy Disco. He does not approve of his fun, dancing, lovable ways. He thinks that he's an embarrassment. He thinks that he's childish. Thinks he's bleeding him. He's got that knife. He had that shank. He tried to cut him open, but I think maybe that headband stopped him from bleeding. Oh, Tony Calzone is nothing but a thug. He brought out that blade, tried to cut open the forehead of Andy Disco. What did Andy Disco ever do to anybody? Except have a good time, teach people to lighten up, enjoy life, to dance a little more often. Andy Disco is a role model to these young children, and a guy like Tony Calzone is nothing but a common street thug. It's the kind of guy that'll steal your lunch money and jump you in an alleyway. He's no different than his brother Frankie, and no different than his cousin Luigi. And I know that Luigi is at odds with his cousins right now, but Luigi is on the road to redemption for himself. And I imagine that if Tony Calzone does not defeat Andy Disco, he'll need some redemption too. I can only imagine the humiliation he would be feeling. Not that there's any shame of losing to Andy Disco. Andy Disco is a great competitor. Don't be fooled by his colorful attire. Don't be fooled by his dancing. He's quite the competitor. He's very well skilled. Look at this submission hold. He's got him in that STF. That requires so much training to master that submission hold. All those punches that he just laid out on him, that takes great skill. That takes boxing practice. Andy Disco is a great competitor. He just doesn't focus so much on being a fighter. He focuses on being himself and implements that as an art style into his competitive nature within the ring. It's the ones who can be themselves while still being great athletes are the most successful. Andy Disco is one of those individuals. I think Andy Disco is going to be a long-stay character here at the SWF. He's brand new. It's only his second match, but he's earned the admiration, the adoration, the respect, and the love of the fans. The children dance with him. They do the disco hand motions whenever they see him. He's always happy to go to autograph signings. This guy is well loved and respected. The same could definitely not be said for Tony Calzone. Tony Calzone is a greedy, selfish thug. Wait a second, he's going for the backslide pin now. I thought he may have had him with that pin. He pulled up that sneaky backslide pin, but it was not enough to put away the Fever. Both men trying to strike each other but not connecting, but then we get a snap suplex courtesy of the Fever, Andy Disco. Oh, Disco's got him. Wow, look at that maneuver. Could that put him away here? Leg drop to the back of the head. Looks like he's not going to go for a pin or a submission, wanting to continue dishing punishment to Tony Calzone. Tony Calzone and Frankie Calzone were in the SWF Tag Team Championship Tournament. They did not make it to the finals, but they did win their first match to advance. They did wonderful. They did great. Many thought that they were the favorites to win the whole thing. The winners ended up being the Golden Bastards, the Golden Boy and Von Stott. Wait a second here. Wait, what is that? Oh! He pulled out hair clippers! What in the world? That must be reference for when the Calzone brothers shaved the head of Blue McNulty, who if you didn't know is a longtime friend of Andy Disco. Rumor has it Blue McNulty got Andy Disco the job here at the SWF. I think that may have been some kind of symbolism to use those clippers. However, if my memory serves me right, it was Frankie Calzone that did the actual clipping of the hair of Blue McNulty. But he's not facing Frankie, he's facing Tony. So perhaps he used them on him. For those that don't know, a while back there was a handicap match between the Calzone brothers, Frankie and Tony Calzone, versus Blue McNulty, where if Blue McNulty won, he got a #1 contendership against Luigi Calzone for the SWF Heroic Championship, but if he lost, he would have his head shaved bald. Of course, the numbers game would catch up, Blue McNulty would lose, and Frankie Calzone would shave Blue McNulty bald. Fortunately, Blue has great genes. After about a month or so, his hair would come back looking almost the same as it was before it was shaved. Oh, what a DDT there by Andy Disco. Goes for that spinning kick, does not hit, eats an elbow. Tony Calzone, normally a tag team competitor, working singles work tonight against Andy Disco, eats an enziguri. I think his ear was just kicked back into the 10th row, landed in someone's Diet Cola probably. Oh, look at that, Andy Disco showing, radiating confidence. Does it again, look at that. Showing Tony Calzone he doesn't take him seriously, but he paid the price as he just got punched in the back of the head. Oh, now he's daring him to get up. Pulls him up by the tights. Drop kick takes him down. Deadlift German suplex. 2.9. So close but no cigar. Almost put away the fever, but the fever is still hot. The fever is still high. Andy Disco is now gonna fly. Frog splash! There he goes! Go for the pin! No, picks him up by the belt. Goes for the enziguri but misses. Gets back to his feet. They grapple and up and down he goes! Go for the pin! No, he stomps on the back of the leg. Stomps on the back of the leg again. And a third time. I'm not sure what the strategy of Disco is here, but I think he's had a few opportunities to go for the pin and possibly win this thing. And there's karma right there. Only a 2 count, luckily. Andy Disco still in the fight. Connects with the enziguri, now taunting for the crowd. And you can see children in the audience doing the same dance. They love Andy Disco. Another frog splash there by Andy Disco. Will he finally go for the pin? No! He's running up the ropes! Oh! Knee to the back. Snap suplex! Andy Disco dancing over the body of Tony Calzone. Will he live to regret that? That remains to be seen. Oh, frog splash! Frog splash! 1, 2, and... No! 2.9! I thought he had him! I thought it would be over. Got him! Andy Disco showing that he's not a joke. Showing that, yes, he likes to have fun. He likes to be colorful. He loves to dance. He loves to sing. But when he gets in the ring, he could throw down with the meanest of the meanest. Oh, no, the Rings of Saturn. Oh, no, wait, that's not a Rings of Saturn. That is a crossface. He's got him in the crossface. But Andy Disco escapes. And now he's going off. Andy Disco is going off. Takes him down. I think he was going to go for an ankle lock there, but he was kicked with the free foot of Tony Calzone. Calzone stands up, looking a little dazed, confused. Slap across the chest of Andy Disco. Now he's going to go for the pin. There's no way that's going to put him away. No way. Andy Disco fights through it. The cheers of the crowd keep Andy Disco fighting. They keep the fever up. They keep the fever alive. And in this case, it's good to have a fever. Disco fever. The man from Funky Town wants to pick up this big win. He wants to prove that he can defeat Tony Calzone. He wants to prove that he's not a joke, that he's not just some silly guy on the roster. He wants to prove that he's an athletic competitor, that he can hang with the biggest, the baddest, and the best. Whoa, look at that. Andy Disco sliding between the legs. Andy Disco on a mission to prove that he's a serious competitor, that he's not a joke, that he can still have fun and put on great matches and be a credible threat and be a potential #1 contender for a future SWF championship match. But he's got a long way to go. He's still brand new. Frog splash! He's not going to go for another one. Yes, he is! A frog splash again! A third frog splash! And he connects! He got it with 3 back-to-back-to-back frog splashes. But Andy Disco needs to go for the pin. He has got to stop worrying about implementing damage. He's done plenty. He just needs to get one strong move in, go for the pin. Oh, beautiful drop kick there by Tony Calzone. Down goes Andy Disco, being dragged away from the ropes. Oh, working on that right leg there with that dragon screw. Oh no, multiple European uppercuts. Down goes the Fever. Oh, look at that! He got him with the diamond cutter! The diamond cutter! The diamond cutter! Oh, no, 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 no! Oh my gosh, only a 2 count. That was a close call. Andy Disco. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh! Oh, no, the dead end DDT. It might be over here. It's all over. The dead end DDT, the finishing maneuver of Tony Calzone. I believe that's exactly what he used to defeat his last opponent, as I recall was Cumulonimbus. Tony Calzone is victorious. Andy Disco, the Fever has gone down.